Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Tips from TTO. We're here in the Red Earth Production Studios. My name is Brian French, and as always, I'm joined by our favorite tax. You're not really the tax person.
Guru. I'm the payroll and accounting specialist.
Yeah. So she's our favorite accounting and payroll specialist.
Yes.
And, we'll leave Greg alone for right now.
Yeah, he's in the thick of it right now. Right. There is end in sight, though, so.
Well, they did what? They moved the date. Anyway, we'd like to welcome you in here for another, we got some good stuff.
Got some good stuff.
Tips from TTO. Right there. So let's start off. They moved the date back, didn't they?
They did, yes. They have moved the date back to May 15th. So it's not as bad as it was last year, but they're giving some extra time for everybody out there to, get motivated to get those taxes done. So May 15th is the deadline.
May 15th.
May 15th.
That's a month.
It is a month, yeah.
Now, with that being said, you guys, the tax office does special hours for tax season. Yes. Will that continue past April 15th?
So I cannot say for sure. Greg has not made that decision yet. Mm-hmm. However, I'm going to say no. So we will go back to our Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, unless you have special circumstances, unless you give Greg a call, we can set something up. If you need something on a Saturday or, later in the evening, I think he'd be more than happy to accommodate that.
Right.
But we will go back to regular hours, 9 to 5, after April 15th date. Yes.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault.
It is not his fault. And, the 3.5 months, it's a hard month. He works the 7 days a week and well into the wee hours. We're talking, midnight, 1 o'clock.
Oh,
so.
I don't want to.
But anyway, so yes, they extended that date. And then, another, date headline as far as, corporate taxes. If you have not already done your corporate taxes or filed that, you do need to be on extension or.
I'm done.
Yes, you are done. Yes, you are done. Get that filed or get that extension filed so you can avoid those costly penalties.
And I'm going to tell you right here. Here's what we talk about a lot. And this is a great thought process here. Okay, folks. The one thing that I think is a failing with micro business, and it's not because I think we're terrible it's just the nature of some of this sometimes. Megan's talking about the taxes and mine's done. The reason I'm able to do this is because we are Red Earth Productions is a client of the tax office. That's why we partner together. That's why we talk about these things, because I think they're important. And it helps you understand how easy it becomes at the end of the year.
Yes.
Really, it does.
You make a great point to stay ahead of your accounting and not have your receipts in a shoebox.
Right.
Have everything categorized. It's not going to be perfect. Of course, Gray's going to make those adjustments. Any tax consultant is going to make those adjustments, right, whether you're using QuickBooks or an Excel sheet, whatever the case may be. But to stay ahead of that, you don't miss those costly deadlines.
And that's the thing. Mm-hmm. It's so good because ours are done. We don't have to. We're focused on our clients. We're focused on working, doing what we do. They've taken care of that. We've done it from month to month. We have our chart of accounts. We know where everything's went. Mm-hmm. Bing, bang, boom. We will have our meetings about our finances and stuff like that and budgets. And we're knowing where our money's going, how it's spent, because all these things are in place. Megan's keeping that. She gives us a report every month.
Right. And you can truly focus on 2021.
Yeah.
What you need to be doing right now. You're not, stuck back in the gloom and doom of 2020 still. So, we highly recommend, we talked about that a lot in 2020.
Yeah.
How to stay prepared and keep going through from a quarter standpoint, from your accounting, bookkeeping, whatever that looks like, keeping track of that. So when you do hit that end of the year, you can get that stuff done and you can.
It's so much easier.
Put those reports away,
yeah,
and set your goals for 2021 or whatever you're
because
going
we're
into.
able to all of our projections are set and ready to go. We had our projections in place. We had our budgets in place because all of those things had been done through that time frame. We could take those numbers; they're right there. Everything's and boom, we're moving right on down the
Right.
road.
You have the foundation to
Yeah.
continue moving forward, not be waiting on, other practices. So.
And if and we're not sitting here, but
We're not
this
coming
is
down
the
on
point.
anyone,
No,
but yeah,
no,
we're
this
trying-
is the
yes.
point. We talk about these things all the time. This is what Tips from TTO is all about. If you want to do this yourself, just remember these are the things you should be doing as well.
Absolutely.
It makes a big difference, but it's so much easier when you can go, here, you got this.
Yeah,
'Cause
email.
I don't want to
whatever.
I don't want to do that anyway. And we use software too that now she can come right to where we're at and
Yeah, I can
bring
log
that
right
to
in.
bear.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have lots of capabilities, here at the tax office. We have lots of login information where it makes it very user friendly for us to have access to that. We log in, grab those statements, grab that information, boom, boom, boom. We get our clients, the reports that they need to stay ahead of the game. So it's very user friendly. Absolutely.
So just as if you're still struggling with that, I got to get my taxes.
Yeah.
done.
Right. That
Right?
panic sets in. It's just food for thought,
It
how to-
is. This is
it's
what
not too-
this is what it's about.
It is. And it's not too late to get those practices in place going into 2021. We're ending the first quarter. I can't believe it went by so fast. Usually tax season always just flies by. So it's the end of the quarter. So, just a, reminder that your quarterly reports will be coming up due, those payments due. And we've got updates on the resource page for dates and things that you might need to know for quarter
So check
time.
that out. I mean, this is a great thing. It's finding out where you want to spend your money, how you want to spend your time. We've been focusing on building our business back, and we've had a really good first quarter, even with all the stuff going on, because we've been able to focus on those things while these folks are taking care of the rest of it.
They do the other stuff,
and
right?
and it makes it. I'm telling you, we need to look at these things as micro businesses. There are cost-effective solutions.
Absolutely.
How do I spend my money? Where do I spend my money? And that's what we want to continue to talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, what hat can you wear? What hat do you need to outsource? And I mean, that's bottom line, right? And nobody wants to deal with numbers. I mean, I do. I like doing it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
So we've got some other things, you're talking about the business world, small business last 12 months. What does that look like? What's happening? What are you hearing from what's going on around you, Meg?
So, the local buzz right now with, bigger corporations, small business, micro business is, I think the number one need is the hiring of what's going on due to the extra unemployment and due to the economic impact payments and whatnot. There's a lot of quote unquote free money. Nothing is free. However, so we're seeing a lot of hiring dips in the market.
Yeah.
And so how do you still find great people? How do you bring people on? And I think the number one thing that I used to do when I would see those hiring dips is I would just walk around to my employees. Hey, do you have any good people? Here's an incentive. Hey, I'll give you a free meal. That was, my restaurant industry. I'll give you a free meal or give you an extra day off. Or, if you can, a $25 gift card to wherever they want, incentive to bring somebody on, great people. Usually one of your employees is not going to bring on somebody who's going to be bad for the company because it makes their job harder. And they don't want to look bad in front of their boss. So that was the number one thing that I saw, as a general manager that worked really well, bringing great people on. And you don't want to forget about those sites, LinkedIn and, the other one just slipped my mind.
You're talking about Indeed?
Indeed, yes. So those are great resources.
There's also, I don't know if that one does it, Monster or something like that.
That is a great resource. It does kind of go more towards degree-oriented jobs.
Okay.
If you do have a degree, then that's a great resource.
I know. I was talking to a gentleman the other day. He was with Crazy Bowls and Wraps.
Okay.
He was a district manager, and they used Indeed quite a bit.
I used it all the time when I was in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
So those are great resources to get linked up with. There you can create an account. It's real simple. It's not real hard. And just a note out there, if you need help with that, I'd be more than happy to help you out with that.
Let me ask you this, Meg. When we're talking about hiring practices, okay? This goes directly to your payroll and how you're going to manage payroll and how you keep your
Yeah.
budgets in line.
Yeah.
It's tough out there right now, not because there aren't jobs.
Right. And that's the key. And that's what I'm hearing is there are a lot of positions out there. The
Right.
unemployment rate is a little bit higher due to what's
Mhm.
going on. There are jobs out there. Things are starting to open up. We're starting to see that uptake with your restaurant jobs, your retail jobs, because things are starting to open back up. So it's not that there's not jobs out there. It's just we're in a tough situation
Right.
with the other side of it. So, and I don't want to rail on that. That is what it is. But how do we move past that and find great people?
That's the
What
thing.
resources can we find?
Well, and it's going to be, I'm not quite sure how you answer that.
It's tough. I don't necessarily think there is a one answer to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Before we get too far off topic.
Well, I'm not off topic. I just think it's tough. I think
It's tough.
we have a difficult stretch. I think there is a definite divide in what we saw in the job market 10 yees ago to today.
To today, yes.
And the thought process of what a job is. What do you do? How do you, how do we get people back into the workforce
Right.
at this point? What are we thinking about? Because what jobs are people looking for?
That's a good question.
We've gone and pushed to college, which I have no problem with college.
Absolutely, yes. That's the route you
If
want
you're
to go.
going to be a doctor, an engineer,
I want you to have a degree.
An engineer. If you want to be an accountant,
Yeah.
But you can also go. There's other schools for accounting
Absolutely.
as well.
There's a lot of trade schools for things like that too.
There are the trade schools. So it
Which I'm
just
a firm believer in,
depends
so.
on what you want to do.
Mhm.
And
What
I
direction you wanna go.
think some of our occupational jobs out there are getting kind of left behind
Your everyday jobs.
because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that you can't go and work for a company and grow and get better and work for a while. Even if you want to get a degree to move to something else, do something. And we need to look at as employers,
Mm-hmm.
what is the incentive for that?
Exactly.
I think
What's
that
the
becomes
incentive?
the
Mhm.
biggest thing. How are we looking at these things? And I think this goes right back to that financial picture. How am I budgeting? What does my whole scope look like? Where am I spending my money so I can understand how to incentivize my employees so that I can find and create an opportunity for myself to bring that person that I'm looking for
Mhm.
in, whether they're long-term in the sense of the next, 20 years, or if it's, 3 to 5 and they're moving on.
3 to
fine.
5 is a good stint for a job.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, and I could, you bring that up. What's the incentive? I had no desire when I started in the restaurant industry at the age of 16 to move up. I found that it worked for me and I found that I was really good at it. And so I was that opportunity was created for
Mhm.
me to be able to move up with the company. So that's a great point that you bring up. What does that look like long term? If you have somebody that you can mold and shape into what you're looking for
Right,
long term,
right,
you
right.
never know what you might get. So
And that's the thing. And here we have these situations. We have to look at how do there's always the language of the corporate model.
yes.
And I always say that because, but how do we translate that into the micro and small business
businesses,
that, if you've got 5 employees, if you've got 10 employees and 15 employees, how do you manage that into that? I know it's tough with insurance and things of that
Mhm.
nature, but these are things that we have to face, and we have to translate that language from the medium, large enterprise corporations into the micro business language. How do we define these things? How do we incentivize? How do we create programs and the same types of opportunities for our staff
Right.
that can keep a quality individual in place for however many
For a
years?
small business or
And
micro.
you know what?
Absolutely.
That person has to they're going to take, everybody makes their own decisions and moves up. and
Right.
whatnot.
Absolutely. Of course.
That's the way things are. But if you have good practices, if you have good situations in place, and that takes a lot of thought and budgeting and putting yourself in your financial position to accommodate those things.
Yes, absolutely. And you have to put time into the hiring process.
Yes.
I'm not I'm not a firm believer on just hire and see what sticks. I've never been that way. Some people out there are.
You need a plan.
You got to have a little bit of a plan. You know, you might find a diamond in the rough. You might take a chance on somebody, and that might be fabulous. So, don't turn everybody away. But it is tough, and it is going to be unfortunately an uphill battle with the hiring thought process. But finding good people, staying connected in your communities, talking to local businesses, and maybe finding out what's going to work best for them. Stay in that network, and don't forget those resources online with Indeed. You know, Monster, I wouldn't count that one out. And then definitely LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn account as a small business owner, I highly urge you to do. It's a great connection source to other businesses in your field. So that should help, and get you started at least.
Finding opportunities, asking questions as what do you do? And if if you've got a tax professional, if you've got an accounting professional, if you don't, you can call the tax office.
Yes.
Get some advice.
Absolutely.
Talk about yourself financially first. Where is money that could be better spent in these areas? Labor, staff, employees will always be the number one expense in business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know
Every
what?
time.
In my estimation, in my opinion, it should be. Why? Because we need people. We do need people to run our businesses. We need good quality people.
You have to look at it as an investment.
That's right.
Into your business. Absolutely.
And if we're investing, it's not just the investment of the money, but it's investment of time. But those things are there. So if you know you're going to spend 30%,
yeah, which is a good margin
of your revenue of your gross revenue on staff, make sure you're doing it right. Look at what you're doing.
In place. Yeah.
Look at what you're doing.
That much money towards something. That's an investment. 30% of your revenue is an investment.
Yeah.
You take 30% and put it into your, advertising or, wherever you decide to
We don't spend that much on advertising.
Exactly. Neither does the tax office. So, it's a big chunk of change. So, making sure you have those practices in place to where you don't have to rehire and keep on rehiring. That's just, pardon my French, pain in the butt. Nobody wants to do that. So, but yeah, having those
pun
budgets
intended,
in place, right? No
French.
pun intended. And the hiring practices in place. It's tough right now. So, we're not here. We don't know it all, but we do have, experience in that. And if you've got questions or whatnot, reach out. That's what we're here for.
It's always good to have the conversation and
Absolutely.
start those conversations.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Megan, as always, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Good stuff, folks. We hope this helps you. We hope this helps your thought process in this. Get a perspective. Start thinking about these things. If you're having trouble with these things, get on, talk through something. It's always good to have that other perspective.
Absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely.
So, hey, everybody, remember, have a great day in the Lord. We will see you next time.